In this next video, I'm going to show you a great technique for getting something completely original. This is how you're going to, save some money because maybe you release a new product. You're not going to have to go out and pay for new artwork to be done, as long as either one, you have existing products that you've got artwork created for, or you can at least look at some examples. But what I'm going to do is show you how, and I mentioned in a previous video that we've got several products getting ready to be released here. Whenever we get artwork for a product, we always make sure to get the original PSDs. Those are the files that have all the different layers and all the different elements. Okay, so if I want to grab something from one of those files, I'm able to do that. And the technique that I'm going to show you now is where we take several different artwork files and we grab what we like out of those and we put them into a brand new one and create a completely new e-cover, and it didn't cost us anything because we've already got the artwork for us, yet it is unique. And of course you can go in there and make slight modifications to it. Let's go ahead and grab Digit. And by the way, I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do at this point. Okay, I'm just going to go through here. You're going to see the actual creation process. I'm going to go through here. I'm going to see if there's anything that I'm, interested in that I like. Not in that one, and that's going to be it. And that one right there looks pretty good. I happen to know this is going to be a very hot product too. But there are some graphical elements that I really like out of this. Obviously, it's going to depend on what you're doing, if you're going to use that film strip thing or not. But I do like the graphics up here by Paycheck, and I might even like to grab those checks. So I'll double click on that as well. I've got that open now in Photoshop. And let's go do one more. Let's see, follow-up system in a box. Let's check that one out. Yeah, I like that one. That's got some good graphics. So let's double click that. All right, I've got 3 different files open here. I can just Control Tab through all of them. So what I'm going to do is let's go up to our actions and let's create in this example. Let's do a box. Let's do box 2. Let's run that and see what that's going to look like. And again, if ever you don't know what it's going to look like, the final product, go ahead and run step 2. I happen to know which box this is. It's the one with the rounded corner, but I'll show you what the blank one looks like. Okay, looks really nice. So you can get an idea of what it's going to look like, and it's always a good idea also to run the action if you're not familiar with it, because then you can see, like, for example, this corner is going to get chopped off, right? But the template does, kind of show us that because it has that red area. But we want to go ahead and customize this and completely create a new box out of these 3 files right here. So all we got to do is go in. Remember in Photoshop that every element that you see there, as long as it's not a flat file, is on a separate layer. So I can turn these things off and on. I can turn the text off. I can turn graphics. Let's see if we can find that laptop. There it is. And here is the double arrows. So every one of these, and how about that? There's some money. We want to have money in there, right? Every one of these is something that I can use and make a composite in my new e-cover. And here's how we do it. The best way, the easiest way, is to make sure your windows are opened up like this. Okay? And we're going to go ahead. We've got this first image selected. I'm going to go to that money layer. Let's make sure we're on it. Okay, great. I'm going to click and drag the layer itself over to my new box. Okay, the layout that I'm creating here. Let's Control T, and I'm going to Shift click and drag to constrain the proportions. Make that a little bit bigger with the Enter key. Looks great. So let's go back, and I think I might want the laptop too. So let's grab the laptop. Another way that you can do this is if you select the layer as long as you got the move tool selected, you can actually move the element itself. Click and drag and move it to the other window. Okay, so you can do it that way too. Now, Control T, let's make that a little bit bigger. I might be resizing this stuff later on, not sure. Let's just drag that down. Okay, looks good. Let's go back. And I think we're pretty much done with this, although, I tell you what, let me look real quick. I kind of like the colors that we got going on here, so let's see where we're getting that color from. Okay, it's coming from this layer right here. So, again, click and drag, drop it on this background here, and we'll just Control T, click and drag, and there we go. Now, of course, we want to move that down. Let's click and drag it to, I think, right about there. Okay, looking pretty good. Now, there is a particular thing that I like about this image, and I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to try this anyhow. Let's click and drag this layer. Yeah, it's that background. Let's click and drag that over here, and Control T. I'm going to heavily distort this. Hit enter. You're going to see a very interesting effect here. I'm going to take this layer. I like the graphics, like what it's doing, but not the colors, okay? So I'm going to change it to luminosity, and you can't really see that. It kind of goes off the screen there. It's one of my bottom selections, but I'm changing it to luminosity. That lets me keep my background colors basically, and it kind of applies the graphics to that, and you can see the result that we get from that. Let me lower the opacity just a little bit. There we go. That looks pretty good. Just to kind of give it something interesting for the background, right? And I think we're done. Yeah, we're done with this one. And let's go ahead and go to the Camtasia Paycheck video now. For this one, okay, we like that. And that is over there. Let's find, okay, that's what I'm looking for. That right there, we're going to click and drag that over to our new image. Let's click and drag it to the top so we can see it. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and go with the font that you see there. And this is one nice thing about this. If you see a font like this that you like, maybe there's a font in coloring, whatever, you can always grab that layer, as long as it's a text layer. See how it says it has a T right there that lets you know this is type, and you can edit that text. So we'll just click and drag, put it in the background there, and I can double click and I can make that whatever I want it to be. So this is now my product, and let's put it right there. Control T on my shape here, and I'm going to stretch it out quite a bit. So you can see all of this. I'll move this down with my arrow keys. You can see everything as long as it's, you know, in the PSD format and you have those layers, it's all customizable. And you can make a lot of modifications to it and repurpose existing covers that you might have. Let's go ahead and change the color on that to see what a red's going to look like. Maybe a real dark blue. There we go. There we go. And we want to colorize that graphic as well. The way that you can colorize something in Photoshop, you can see here, this is made up primarily of the same type of hue, and it kind of fades away. I want to add a color to that. I can do that with an effect. So I click the effects button. Again, I apologize, this is off the screen, but if you go down there, there's an option that says color overlay. And all you do is turn that on, and then you can go in here and select a color. Now I'm going to sample my text, and when I move my mouse over the image, see how it turns into the eyedropper? All I got to do is click that, click OK, Click OK again. And I just colorized that green and made it totally match, you know, the cover that I'm working on here. Now, I think what I might like to do, because of this this piece of corner that's getting cut off, is I'm going to totally change this text. I'll do Control T. I'll make it a bit larger and move it up. And then I'm going to also do Control T and move this up as well. I got to watch out, you know, how close I'm getting to that corner. So we'll just try something like that. And let me see what else I've got. Let's go ahead and grab that subtitle too. Put that down here at the bottom. We'll just make this say, again, it's a type layer, so I can go in there and I can edit the type. 101 ways to make $5,000 a month online. Okay, this is my new product that I just created 5 minutes ago. And in fact, let's change my product to really match up. Make 5K in 30 days. Okay, and we're going to take this. One thing that's nice about Photoshop, if you've got, you can have multiple lines of text, and you can change the you can change everything about the font in those multiple lines. So I can drop the size down for this particular line. Let's just click and drag and get, well, how about this? I'm going to shrink it down. I'm going to show you a new trick. You're going to learn something about Photoshop. Here is my character palette, and I'm going to take and I'm going to stretch that text out. Watch how I do that. The setting right here that shows the gap. I'm going to stretch that text out and make it match up with the width of the text above it. There we go. And I think one more thing I want to do with that. Let's change the color maybe to a white. Okay, great. Now I can go in again. We'll do Control T and distort that a bit. So you see how you can manipulate things? You can play with them in Photoshop. Just because you start one way does not mean, you know, that that's the way that you have to finish. Let's go ahead. We can close this one. And close this one. I'm going to show you how to take what we've already got and use it over here for the spine. Remember, this is going to be a box, and it's the one with the curve, so we need to have a good size spine show up here. You can take existing elements inside of your layout, and I realize this is not completely fancy right here. I should do a little more with it. Maybe, I tell you what, let's go ahead and I'm going to load Internet Explorer. This is another on-the-fly training presentation. I'm going to show you a resource, iStockPhoto.com. This is a great place to find some really classy looking images. What I think we're missing right here is it would be nice if this was like a crystal ball. So we're going to actually look for that. Let's go ahead, type in crystal ball, hit enter. And if you can't find it on iStock, then it probably does not exist. Okay, and we got a lot of different kinds of crystal balls here. I kind of like that one with the money in it. In fact, that gives me an idea. Let's go ahead, maybe go with this one. And it looks like that's a vector image, and I don't want that in this particular case, but you know what? It does give me a good idea. I'm going to look for crystal globe, and all we need to do is find, I think this one right here will actually work. Yeah, that one's pretty nice. I'm looking for I want a real crystal one. And something like that right there. Yep, that's what I want. Now what you do here is you buy credits in order to be able to download things, and the size that you want, that's going to determine how many credits it costs to get it. For this particular case, you take into account, if you're going to only produce for the web, then you don't need a real high resolution. You can usually get away with pretty low. If you're going to, make this actually into something that's printed, then you want a higher resolution. And it can show you, a lot of times they put the dimensions in pixels and they put it in inches. Okay, so in this case, I'm good to go with this at a pretty low resolution. So I can download it. I think I am going to have to log in here, which I will go ahead and pause the video and log in and complete that transaction. I'll be right back. Okay, I went ahead and completed the transaction. There's a minimum of 10 credits that you can get for $13, and it's really a good deal. That means that I'm going to get this picture for, around $1. So here I've got my credits. I need to, it's a good idea to get your credits beforehand. Because now I got to go in there and find that image again. And let's see, I think it's on the next page. Yep, there it is right there. Go ahead and download it. Again, we're going with a low resolution right now because it's going to be pretty small, actually. Accept the terms and click to download. Let's save that to, we'll just put it on the desktop right now. Crystal Globe. And that's it, we're done. Now, let's go to File and Place. We'll go to the desktop, and we should have Crystal Globe right there. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is distort it to match up with what's underneath it. And let's go ahead, I'll hit enter. It's going to be inserted as a smart object, so resizing is going to be a piece of cake. I'll always have good resolution. But I'm going to lower the opacity just so that I can see where this is supposed to match up. I'll match the top right there, resize the sides. And that looks pretty good. I think we can go with that. And let me show you a little trick. We want to get rid of all the black, right? So we're going to throw this into screen mode. And we throw it into screen mode. It gets rid of all the black. I need to hide this little area right here. We'll add a layer mask. I'll grab the paintbrush, and I know this is kind of an accelerated course, okay? But I want you to see the potential here. Let's go ahead and paint black right over top of that so you can't see it. And we're going to, in fact, bring that down below the laptop so it appears behind it. And just one more thing. Let's do one more layer. I'm going to grab the text tool. We'll put it right here. And I'm going to type a $sign. That's it. We're going to make this $sign pretty large. And I tell you what, I think it is hidden by, where is it? Yep. Need to click and drag that up. Right underneath the globe, I think. There we go. Put it right there. Let's change the color. That right there I think looks pretty good. And then all that is left is to take this graphic right here and put it on the spine, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Let's find Mike Make 5K in 30 days. There we go. So that's that one. And there is our background. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to shift click and select both of those, and then I'm going to right click and go to Convert to Smart Object. The reason that I'm going to do that is now both of those elements are in one actual layer, and I can do Control J to duplicate that. Watch this. Control T, and if you click on one of the corners or the other nodes, click near it, you can rotate. So I'm going to rotate it over. I'm going to hold the Shift key down to constrain it. That makes sure it goes up and down. Then I will move it into position. Like so. Hit the Enter key. And there we go. Now, this does not seem to, a lot of stuff gets hidden right here. So we're going to make a little change there. Let's find the background. I think it's right here. Let's do Control T. I'm going to move that background over to there. And I'm just going to create a new background. Create a new layer. Like so. Let's pick some different colors. Kind of match with the theme a little bit, but we'll do some different colors. Maybe a lighter blue. That works good. We'll grab the gradient tool, and now we're going to go gray to that dark blue. There we go, and Control D to deselect. Now that looks pretty good. We're going to go ahead and go with that, okay? Maybe not the absolute best composition, but we're wanting to come up with something pretty quick here. Let's go ahead and play step 2. And remember, the thing that we really want to learn out of this is that you can take different elements from different graphics, put them together into a completely new product, just like so. And that's the most important thing that you can learn out of this video.